Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani has declared the decision of his administration to enter a peace pact with terrorists in the state, stressing that his priority is preserving lives and ensuring peace. Governor Sani stated this in an interview while responding to critics of the initiative. He clarified that the decision followed 6 months of dialogue and did not involve any payment to the terrorists. If even one person were to be killed in Kaduna, it's better for me to have the peace pact. Otherwise, Almighty Allah will hold me accountable because I took an oath, he said. Sani emphasized that his administration did not offer any monetary incentive to the terrorists to secure the agreement. I want to assure you that not even 1 naira was given to them, he reiterated. According to him, the peace pact was facilitated with the support of traditional rulers and religious leaders who played a vital role during the 6 months of discreet negotiations. Governor Sani noted that one of the preconditions for the reconciliation was the release of all captives held by the terrorists. He revealed that approximately 200 individuals were freed as a result of the talks, which he believes signals the sincerity of the agreement. The governor expressed optimism that the peace pact would hold, citing the positive changes already evident in the state. Quickly, I'd love to start with you. I don't know if that's fine to start with you, but I would love to get I'd love to get your thoughts on this quickly.
First and foremost, peace is priceless.
Yes.
And a critical ingredient for development to take place. I have my own issues with the position of the governor. First, the governor is acting within the fact that protection of lives and property is the primary purpose of government, and of course that translates to public welfare. But again, just as you're reading, to us the reports. One thing quickly came into my mind that this same week, about 20 persons in a particular village, I can't say precisely which, but in Kaduna it was reported in a daily trust also that about 20 persons were also kidnapped by the same terrorists. Call it kidnapping, call it abduction, whatever it is, whether it is bandits, terrorists or whatever. Just less than 1 week after the information came to public knowledge that such a negotiation was on and that the negotiation had been completed. So again, when they say it's a matter of traditional rulers and religious bodies being part of the negotiation, what was the role of security agencies? Because we are talking about criminality, where the security agencies also involved. And it also gives the impression that at least with such a development, sitting down, it also means that the governments of some of these states know much more than we know about what is happening in their states, and those who are actually the terrorists and the bandits. And for me, there's a missing link. It shows that all this while that we also have knowledge. For this negotiation to have lasted about 6 months, it leaves some impression of the fact that all this while, at least they have a knowledge of those who are there.
And that, because that was a question I wanted to ask. Why did it take this long for them to realize that there should be a peace pact? And secondly, if they knew actually that this is actually a way that can be used, another initiative that can be used to curb the insecurity and actually bring these terrorists to a hold, why has this not been implemented by the federal government a long time ago? Why have troops been sent out, and then lots of soldiers have actually died in this incident, even civilians?
Yes, it even contradicts the fact that the Chief of Defense Staff, I think Christopher Musa, General, has been very consistent. In fact, he has left nobody in doubt that the army in fact, the military, is after these bandits, and that there is no way they are going to negotiate with them. That is his position.
Okay, so it's more like the state governor decided on his own to bring up this idea of a peace pact, since the military decided not to do.
Okay. Because we have always had the narrative and suggested that there should be a synergy of all stakeholders.
Yes.
Because if you leave out the military, which is a major stakeholder in this matter, in fact, security agencies, and you went ahead to negotiate it, and got to this point where he said as many as 200 persons that were abducted were released. And the same week, while this is happening, there are also reports that a village, a particular community, was also invaded by some of these bandits. Then there's certainly a problem, one in terms of who sat down to do it. Because once you begin to negotiate with criminals, it emboldens them. They make some more demands on you, and you have to concede. Otherwise, they make the matter more complicated for you. Sheikh Gumi has been insisting that bandits should be negotiated with, and we have had negotiations, negotiations upon negotiations, and even that hadn't worked. So the best thing is allow the military to take on these persons. Those who want to voluntarily come out of it, let them voluntarily come out of it, surrender to the military, and then they will profile instead of
the state governor and traditional rulers. Thank you so much, Mr. Ayatamuno. I'd love to get your thoughts, Mufasa. What do you have to say concerning this, please?
You see, I think it was Socrates who said that the unexamined life is not worth living. Honestly, I know for a fact that we've had this kind of arrangement in the past. When you keep doing the same thing over and over again, and expect to get a different result, what such a move could best be described as. When you say you are negotiating, you are entering into a peace pact with terrorists, criminal elements, undesirable elements. We have different categories of terrorist group or groups, as the case may be, in the north, Kaduna inclusive. Just recently, we have the new ones that they call Lokurawa, Lakarawa, or what they call them. And which of the sects in particular is the government having this peace pact with? It leaves so much to be desired in the minds of the people. I believe, like what Chief here said, that if the chief of army staff, is saying that they are closing in on these people. We had that even the notorious bandit kingpin, Toji Bello was his name, is even begging to surrender, according to what we had in the news. Then they should close in on these people and take them out root and stem. When you are initiating a peace pact with them, of course, peace is priceless. But then again, we should also know that terror is senseless. How long are we going to keep doing the same thing over and over again? The next thing you get that they'll be granted amnesty, and they'll demand to be paid money, because when you negotiate with these individuals, they'll definitely state their demands. And you'll be compelled to meet.
So obviously there were demands that were stated before this 200 captive
they give you conditions. Whereas we are supposed to negotiate on the part of trade, assuming without even conceding that this will fly. How come we have a government that appears to be completely I don't want to use the word clueless, but let me just say they're showing that they've reached their wit ends in terms of fighting insurgency.
Mufasa, we would love to ask, do you think this peace pact is actually the right step to take?
You know what? Of course, peace is priceless. But
Okay.
we've had this discussion before in the
now.
past. Not once, not twice. There was a time even in Kaduna State when the former governor, former governor Nasir El-Rufai, was even accused of giving these people money. You know, and it caused a lot of uproar across the federation. So, you know, it's not enough for them to tell us 1 naira and all of those things is not given. We don't want to hear that. These are people when, after some time, they go back into the trenches because they are used to kidnapping, collecting ransom ranging to billions of nairas and all of that. So how are you going to sustain them?
And that's the question.
These are
Because
criminals.
let's say they gain amnesty, because we've had cases where most of these terrorists that actually were given amnesty at some point went back to the streets because they realized that the government did not fulfill their own parts of the packing.
The thing is that,
You know.
which of the group, we have several groups now. We have the ones who call themselves bandits. Okay,
We have the Boko Haram.
Boko Haram, ISIL, and the ISWAP. We have the new one called. The responsibility of government is to make sure that the security apparatus are sufficiently equipped and a marching order given to them to ensure that these persons, these elements, are taken out root and stem. There is no need for all this because we've tried it before in the past and it didn't work. Let us say we've not tried this.
So
approach before.
what should we do? What should be the way forward?
The way forward is what I just stated now. Whatever the military needs, the police, the civil, whatever they need to work effectively should be provided for them in terms of motivation, in terms of welfare, in terms of equipment, modern equipment, so that they can function
I
effectively.
don't know if you were here, Mufasa, one time. Okay, I'm not sure you were the guest we had when they imported airstrips into the country, the air fighter equipment, military hardware and whatnot. I think about 20 of them, and they said they were bringing more of it, 12 or something like that. I don't want to be, I don't want to make mistake, but I was aware that much of this were actually brought into the country for this insurgency and all of that. Does it mean that nothing has been done in this instance? Because that's one of the solution you gave here.
You see, in fighting criminality, terrorism, you see, you can never get enough of these things. In the United States of America, for instance, their budget for security and all of that, it's open. It's not a closed something. It's not something that you say I've acquired and you just go and sit down and rest your horse.
Okay.
You know, what about the welfare of the people who are operating these machines?
Okay.
What about their technical know-how? I have said it before that our approach in fighting criminality, insurgency, and terrorism is still, to my own understanding and assessment, is still analog. You know, let us move away from our old way of doing things. For me, this whole peace meeting will, you know, of course, the governor would want to show that he has, you know, he's putting effort, but it's not the right approach.
Okay, thank you so much, Mufasa. Well, quickly, you know that this Boko Haram insurgency has been on for a very long time.
Yeah.
And recently, we got news that they went back to Chibok to abduct most of the...
And where are they taking these people?
And where are they taking them to?
not
And
still
how
within
come
our
it's
geographical
still
space?
lingering for a long time until now?
It's not a matter of the number of peace packs you have with
that
them.
has actually been
because if
put
you
in
have
place.
this pack with this set, another set will rise up tomorrow, and of course you have to settle those ones. And before you know, another one will rise. You say, how many people can you settle? So the best approach is to go hard on them. They should hit them hard and, you know, smoke them out, root and stem. There's no point trying. You don't sympathize with these people because these are ruthless elements. You know, so I'm not surprised that we keep doing that, but it doesn't really make sense to me. It doesn't.
Thank you so much on that.